sports.
We are sports. We are Southeast.
Last night, Freddie Freeman hit a solo home run, part of a two-hit game for the Braves, but Michael Franco of the Phillies also went deep, and the Phillies won Game 1, 3-2 here in Atlanta. We welcome you to Atlanta, and it's another beautiful night for baseball. Perhaps tonight's the night that the Braves will pick up their second home win here at Turner Field. They dropped a 3-2 decision to the Phillies here last night. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome back to the ballpark. Another day, another trade for Braves GM John Coppolella, and that's forced Atlanta to shuffle its starting assignment tonight.
Yeah, Julius Chacin was scheduled to start tonight, but instead he's been traded to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim for Adam McCreary, a young left-handed pitcher who will probably go to extended spring training for the Braves until they can figure out where they want to assign him. So what do the Braves do? Well, they called up Williams Perez to take the place of Julius Chacin. Williams is coming off a brilliant outing in AAA, a complete game, one-hit shutout. If that doesn't give you confidence coming back to the big leagues, I don't know what it would take. Williams has not pitched past the fifth inning in any of his 3 starts previous. Hopefully tonight he's got that confidence back to give him a little boost against these fighting Phils.
And I like that word confidence because I think that's applying to Freddie Freeman at the plate right now. He's obviously the hottest Atlanta hitter.
Well, he's tearing it up. I wish there's some other guys that would follow suit because after a slow start, Freddie Freeman has been Freddie Freeman. He's hitting the ball to all fields, including that opposite field home run last night. He's a guy that's pretty much carrying the ball club right now. If there's any offense to be had, it's coming from this guy. His last last 15 games rather, he's been on fire. And unfortunately, those home runs are not translating into a lot of runs or RBIs because not too many guys on base in front of him.
But a lot of lefties in the lineup in front of Freddie Freeman, and the Braves have Ender Inciarte back. He made a great play last night. We'll see what he can do at the plate as the Braves and Fightin' Phils meet in Game 2 in Atlanta tonight.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
headed toward the gap. Can anybody get there? Cincinnati dives and robs his man. Harper all the way around to second, will be doubled up. What a great grab by Cincinnati. Cincinnati, he tries to deke the runner. The throw is going to beat it.
Nice double play.
You know, the whole team and all the fans are excited to have their center fielder back in Ender Inciarte. Since he's been back, he's been making some web gems and helping that offense get something going. And, you know, there was that 6th inning double play last night. He deked out the runner at first, and everybody was talking about it. I haven't seen the dugout that excited about something all season. And we talked to the guys in the clubhouse today, like I said. Some said they knew what was going on, and some said they didn't. But the moral of it was that they're excited to have their man back in center field.
I feel like that stuff happened to me right at the moment. You know, I always, like I said before, I don't like to invent new things, but I like to do whatever feels good at the moment, and it worked. You know, last year I made a barehanded play that I never even thought about doing it. So sometimes just things pop to my head and I just do it. Hopefully it's going to keep working.
So Ender had 2 hits yesterday, and they are hoping that he can get some more today in Game 2 versus the Phillies. But stay with us because we have first pitch and the starting lineups with Chip and Joe coming up right after the break.
Baseball is sponsored by Georgia's best Chevy dealers.
Beautiful night in Atlanta. A few puffy clouds overhead. A warm, breezy evening for the Braves and Philadelphia Phillies. Here's how Atlanta lines up defensively. Inciarte, Smith, and Markakis left to right in the outfield. Beckham, Ibar, Kelly Johnson, Freddie Freeman around the infield. The battery of A.J. Brzezinski and Williams Perez.
Boy, there's the line from that last start against Charlotte. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and only 1 hit allowed through 112 pitches. So tonight, let's see if he can get back on track at the big league level. His 4 keys, walks. In the big leagues this year, 8 walks in 12 innings. He can't do that tonight and be on the attack. If you learn something in those 3 starts at Gwinnett, it would be to be aggressive, have confidence that you've got good stuff, and certainly use that here today.
And with all due respect to the Phillies, who've won 19 games, this is not exactly the 27 Yankees from an offensive standpoint.
They're struggling to score runs just like the Braves.
But a man who is hot is the man that leads off for them. That's Odubel Herrera. He was 1 for 5 in the game last night. Enters play with a .319 average. He's reached base in 29 of 30 games for Philadelphia. So Williams Perez is back in the big leagues, and his first pitch is off the plate. Ball 1. 85 degrees tonight. A gentle breeze blowing out toward left center. And a high, lazy fly ball towards center. And that'll be easy for Alex Smith. And there's out number 1. Cesar Hernandez hitting second and playing second for Pete McCannon's Phils. Michael Franco's their third baseman. Ryan Howard cleans up. Cameron Rupp, Freddie Galvis, Tyler Goodell, Jared Eichhoff, pitcher 8th, and Peter Borges will be in the outfield and hitting 9th. Cesar Hernandez drove in a run last night. A high strike.
Lest we forget, last year, before Williams was hit on the ankle with that line drive in Pittsburgh, he was 4-0. He was pitching great and pitching with a ton of confidence. And that line drive that literally knocked him off his feet and put him on the disabled list, I don't think he was ever the same after. There are those numbers. 2.88 ERA.
Right down Broadway, and Hernandez took it. Williams Perez retires the first 2 Phillies in order. That's his first strikeout.
Well, Williams has an excellent changeup, and here's the first evidence of it tonight. Taken for a called third strike. Really a pretty good pretty hittable pitch, but a great delivery on it.
Michael Franco, as Joe said last night, tries to hit a home run with every swing. Well, he was successful last night. A long homer for his 7th round tripper of the year, one of his 3 hits in the series opener. And a bouncing ball right up the middle. Just as that pitch was made, Kelly Johnson shifted right behind the second base bag. Great positioning and a great result. Williams Perez got him an order in the top of the first. Worked a very effective 1-2-3, and here's the nice move by Kelly.
Yeah, check it out. Just before the pitch is made, he had radar. He knew where it was going to be hit. Otherwise, that was a base hit.
And now the Braves run into Jared Eichhoff, a big horse that they saw here in Atlanta last year.
He came over in the Cole Hamels deal from the Texas Rangers. His home numbers pretty good. Road numbers not so much. In his last start against St. Louis, he got beat 4-0. Went 6 innings, gave up only 3 runs, but no run support. 6'4", 247.
And he's greeted with a first First pitch single by Nick Markakis. Boy, Nick's done a great job leading off for Atlanta, and there's a promising first inning start.
It's a way to greet a guy. First pitch of the ball game. Line one right back through the middle. Nick took an 0 for 3 last night. Good start to tonight's game.
Ender Inciarte had the defensive gem of the night for the Braves. That great fake out that turned into a double play at first base. As Joe said, Eichhoff is a big man out of Evansville, Indiana, and Olney Central College. Downstairs for Inciarte. 1 ball, no strikes.
Fastball in the low 90s, tops out about 93, 94. He's got a good curveball. That's his breaking pitch of choice, but he's also got a slider and a changeup to add to his secondary pitches.
That's bounced to third. Oh, what a grab by Franco. And Inciarte beat the rap at first. Wow. Man, oh man, he almost mistimed his jump. And if that gets over his head, the Braves have runners at first and third.
Almost looked like it was already over his head. Were it not for Inciarte's speed, they'd have had a double play. Outstanding play by the Phil's third baseman.
Was made just one error this season for the Phillies. That brings up Freddie Freeman. Freddie hit his 5th homer here last night. Again, it's worth repeating, the opportunities for Freeman to hit home runs with men on base have been few and very far between. In fact, the Braves this year have 1 homer with a man on base all year. Now, they only have 8 overall. But that homer came on April the 10th with a man aboard. Let's see if he can jump on an Eichhoff pitch with Inciarte at first. He does. A base hit to right. Inciarte around second, on his way to third. And Freddie Freeman continues his sizzling work at the plate. And at the corners, 1 out. Braves aren't waiting to get to 2 strikes.
First pitch swing. Got a fastball at the knees. Outer third of the plate. Freddie's locked in. Really tearing it up. The Braves did see Eichhoff at the end of the year last year. Eichhoff got no decision and went 7 shutout innings against the Braves. Gave up 5 hits. That was on September 19th.
So Kelly Johnson becomes the key man in the inning for Atlanta. First and third, 1 out. Driven down the right field line and out of play. Some fans might wonder, why is a man with no homers and only 4 RBIs batting 4th? Well, other than Freddie Freeman, there isn't a lot of power, but Kelly Johnson on our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot has clobbered the Phillies.
And a chance to give the Braves a lead even with the fly ball here. I'm talking about that on Braves Live with Jerome, saying, you know, an early run would go a long way tonight for Williams Perez.
Ground ball, base hit right field, and Inciarte scores. Kelly Johnson puts the Braves in front. 3 Atlanta hits here in the opening inning. Freeman stops at second. It's 1-0.
As we have said since the beginning of the season, it takes a lot of hits for the Braves. But this is a great start tonight. Already 3 knocks and a run in.
And how about the way Freddie Gonzalez stacked his lineup? He looked at the stat sheet and saw that Eichhoff has trouble getting left-hand hitters out. Well, Eichhoff's got to face 5 of them. At the top of the lineup, and there's a whistler into the seats, foul off AJ's bat.
Not just that, but once they get past the pitcher, then you've got Malik Smith. That makes 6 straight left-handers once you go back to the top of the order.
Good point. So no balls and a strike for AJ Pierzynski, who's playing in game number 1999. His terrific big league career. AJ's already gone over the 2,000 hit mark, as you know.
There are those splits. Huge difference, lefties and righties. And there's that good curveball.
Nothing at 2 for AJ. This is the deepest count for any Atlanta hitter so far in the first inning. Eichhoff's thrown 10 pitches. He's facing his 5th batter. He's given up 3 hits and a run.
Philly's got 6 players back from the Rangers for Cole Hamels and a good left-handed reliever, Jake Diekman. And Eichhoff is one of them.
While some will question the final couple of years of Ruben Amaro's tenure as the general manager of the Phillies, he certainly left this organization in good shape with that Cole Hamels trade.
It's well stocked with those guys, you bet.
Fastball. AJ spit on that. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, tough take there. Rolled over some of those big curveballs so they elevate the fastball, and he was able to stop his swing.
Perez has a 1-run lead. He'd like a few more here in the opening inning. Freeman and Kelly Johnson, the runners. And AJ slaps it left side. Franco drops the ball. And can't make a play. All hands are safe for Atlanta. The bases are loaded.
This will be an error on Michael Franco. Couldn't make the exchange to his throwing hand, and that really cost him 2 outs, because that was going to be an easy double play with AJ Brown.
So only the 2nd error for Franco, who's going to check the webbing. And Gordon Beckham will stand back in. The Braves got Gordon back yesterday with his first action in a while. He was 0 for 2. Hamstring problem sidelined him down in Miami.
The only right-handed hitter in the lineup other than the pitcher.
There's the breaking ball, but it missed. For Beckham, 1 ball, no strikes.
I asked Gordon how he felt after last night's game, and he said he felt good. Leg felt good. Said I was a little over anxious at the plate, but that was to be expected. I thought he put some good swings on the ball last night.
As a whole, the Braves had some good swings last night, but just couldn't find any holes and couldn't get them over the fence.
Yeah, Jeff Francoeur said the ball he hit to right center. He said it felt like the ball I hit for my first career homer here at Turner Field. He said the ball didn't go anywhere.
Long inning for Eichhoff here in the first. Beckham had a good cut.
The Braves organist plays the best song in the world for Gordon Beckham.
Boomer Sooner.
Well, second best then for the Georgia Bulldog, Gordon Beckham.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I guess it is a matter of perspective, isn't it? 2 balls and a strike. There's a pretty pitch.
Yeah, that's a good hook, boy. When you can throw it at the right-handed hitter, and on this occasion, almost aim it right at the hitter's head and cause him to freeze. That even got Rupp out of his crouch because it was high.
That's a good pitch when the hitter and the catcher flinch.
Yes.
But the umpire didn't. As Beckham rolls it foul past Bo Porter, it's still 2-2. Swing and a drive down the left field line. Foul. That would have done some serious damage.
Sure would have with AJ's wheels. I would have scored 2. Just missed.
Eichhoff isn't fooling many. Here comes the 2-2 again.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Braves pitchers. An inning where he should have been out of the inning with the double play ball, has to make a lot of extra pitches, and then a guy is fouling off your best pitch. That was a good foul ball there by Beckham.
2-2. Swing and a miss. There's that breaking ball. It was a beauty and a big pitch for Eichhoff. Beckham strikes out, second out of the inning.
That's 35 strikeouts for him in 36, making 37 innings. He's only walked 7. Good command, but that hook, devastating right-handed hitters. You can see where a lot of his strikeouts have come from.
So here's Ibar, a switch hitter, batting 182. 8 pitches since the Franco error at third base. And got that one over. Strike 1. Braves this year with the bases loaded, hitting 154 as a club.
One more hit. Freddie Gonzalez keeps talking about needing that key hit. Perfect time for one here.
I thought that was high.
Kind of did too.
That changes the at bat. Instead of a 2-1 count, it's now 1-2. And yeah, might want to practice that cut.
That was good.
Freeman, Kelly Johnson, A.J. Przinsky, the runners. And that's out of play foul. We'll do it again. As you said, Eichhoff throws a lot of strikes. He's doing that here in the first inning. 26 pitches, 6 balls.
See him try to waste one here and get him to chase.
High hopper hit towards second, and Eichhoff is going to survive the first inning. He threw 27 pitches. The Braves load him up and score 1. They go to the second. are officially on sale, and they start at as little as $7 per game for all A-list members. Act fast to get the best seats before they're gone. Visit Braves.com/SunTrust Park and secure your tickets today. And Derek Schiller is here tonight to talk all about what was, I'm sure, a very exciting day yesterday for you and Mike Plant and everybody associated with SunTrust Park, the first day of season ticket sales.
Yeah, this is a big moment. I mean, we are officially launching the general season ticket on sale for our fans. We're excited to get that out there finally. Up to this point in time, we've been selling to our season ticket holders, our A-list members. We've had a lot of success with that. Been proud of what we've accomplished thus far, but we're really excited now to get it out in front of the general public.
So how was the response after day one?
Thus far, it's been really good. I think, in addition to just being on sale, it does give people a chance to actually get the view from the various sections as part of this whole deal. If they go online, they can see what's called this virtual venue technology, which allows them to get a glimpse of what their view might be from their seat.
We had the privilege of getting a first-hand tour from you on Friday of last week, getting to see SunTrust Park.
Ryan Howard bounces to Ibar. Plenty of time to get the Philly first baseman one down.
I'm not speaking for Chip, but I was mighty impressed with the progress. The sight lines were incredible, and the proximity of all the seats to the playing field were the things that struck me immediately.
Our number one prerequisite to Populous, the architect, who, by the way, has done 9 of the past 10 ballparks, was to make an intimate ballpark, to make all the seats as close to the field as possible, because at the heart of this, you need to have a really good baseball experience, and that's what we were striving for. And our first walkthroughs, I think, as you mentioned, I think you're starting to really get a feel for that.
Cameron Rupp bats and takes a strike. There really isn't a bad seat in the house. I mean, Joe and I were commenting on that with the cantilever design and the wide concourses, and as you said, the stadium and seating is pushed so close to the field, you almost feel like you're on the field as opposed to watching what's happening on it as well.
Yeah, and I don't want to necessarily compare it or contrast it to Turner Field, but one way to look at it for those fans that are familiar with Turner Field is you really take the back 20 rows of the lower level here at Turner Field, and you put those 20 rows in the first 20 rows of what we call our terrace level. And so it does exactly what you just mentioned. It takes those seats and it pushes them forward towards the field, and it also makes them much closer to everything.
Play by Freddie Freeman to take away a hit from Cameron Rupp.
Good thing he was the only guy on that side of the diamond. That was a great play on a tricky hop. Also, you told us that on schedule, on budget, those are all good things that you don't hear too often these days in a big construction project.
This is an extremely complex project, so yeah, to be on schedule, on time, on budget is really impressive at this point in time. And part of the fan experience that we're delivering here is not only the ballpark, which is a complex operation unto itself, but we're also building a mixed-use development, which has a lot of different components to that. That's all going very well as well.
Freddie Galvis is the batter with the bases empty. Asking this question is like asking you which of your children do you love most, but which has been the most fun and which has been the most challenging, the Battery Atlanta part of the project or the stadium project itself?
Well, certainly the most fun is the ballpark. I work for a baseball team, and so being part of the design process, SunTrust Park has been really, really exciting, and I think I can speak for our entire executive team on that. The Battery Atlanta has definitely been the most challenging. It has been rewarding as well, but it's challenging because there's so many different aspects to it that are new, that have never been done before. Nobody has master planned a development side by side with the Major League Baseball stadium. So there's a lot of firsts that are happening there, and a lot of lessons learned along the way.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Freddie Galvis, the Phillies shortstop. And Perez almost hit him.
You showed us the Braves clubhouse, which is unbelievable in terms of its size. So with the changes that the team's undergoing on the field, any prospective free agent that comes here and goes to SunTrust Park and sees that clubhouse is going to be mighty impressed. It'd be like college recruiting these days for football, with all the weight rooms and everything, and all these teams trying to outdo one another. It's going to be unbelievable.
It really is. It's pretty spectacular. And now that we can actually walk through it, you have a sense for where the walls are going. It's a couple times the size of the existing clubhouse with I don't know, 5 times the amount of amenities. So it's going to be a great place for our players to call home.
Line to short. Freddie Galvis is retired. 6 up, 6 down for Williams Perez. Derek, can you stick around for another half inning?
Sure, love to.
Great. Derek Schiller telling us all about the happenings at beautiful SunTrust Park. Tickets are now on sale. The Battery at Atlanta and SunTrust Park will soon offer the best entertainment experience in Atlanta with great dining options and boutique shops on site. Going to a Braves game will never be the same. Be part of the excitement. Get your tickets today at Braves.com/SunTrust Park.
And I know one of the features about the ballpark that's near and dear to your heart is a microbrewery. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so, you know, baseball and beer go together pretty well. So we've got a deal that we've put together with Miller Coors and some as yet to be determined beer that they're going to be brewing there. But it'll be right there in what we call our Chop House Gate, where you enter from the Battery Atlanta into the ballpark. And there'll be a 2-story, all glass enclosed working microbrewery. I've been told that they're going to brew 3 different varietals of beer every day. That'll be available in the ballpark and hopefully throughout the Battery.
Williams Perez lines out as the Braves start the second inning. 1 up, 1 down.
With that in mind, talk about the Chop House relative to the one that exists here.
So the Chop House goes a little bit further right than where it exists here at Turner Field. It goes pushed almost over to the right field foul pole. It's about 3 times the size. It includes not only the main level and a second level, which we'll call officially the top of the Chop at the new ballpark, but it'll also include a bottom level, a lower level, which we'll call below the Chop. And that's really exciting because in addition to being a 3rd level and increasing just the overall size and significance of the Chop House, there's some windows, if you will, that overlook and look right through the field. So you're actually sitting on the field, that same level, and you've got these 40-foot gaps that allow you this unique perspective to the right field. Be a chain link fence that'll be there, and it'll be a great place for people to come down. You don't even have to have a ticket specifically to that area to enjoy it.
Alex Smith with a line drive to right. The Braves have 4 hits. And he's aboard with 1 out. As we know, Derek, the Braves have always encouraged the excitement and experience at Turner Field to be a family affair. For those who come to the ballpark and have kids and don't necessarily want to go to the brew house or the Chop House, what options are there for families with kids at SunTrust Park?
So our research says that there's about 50% of our fans come with a kid with them to the ball game. It is, as you say, very much of a family experience. So we want to very much make sure that we have lots of things for the entire family to do. One of those things at SunTrust Park will be a giant kids zone. We have all sorts of different baseball and kids related activities throughout there that'll be located in the main concourse level in the outfield. And it'll have a lot of things, some of which we haven't even released yet. One of the things we talked about that got a little bit of play was we'll actually have a zip line inside of the ballpark. It'll be for kids. It's not, you know, one of those big gigantic things, but it'll certainly add a unique feature to the ballpark.
My partner's got his dauber down. He was ready for the zip line. He's ready to go.
I think when we did our walk around, didn't he claim that he was going to be the first to do the zip line?
We'll call him the Boomer Zoomer. If he makes it to the zip line, Nick Markakis takes the ball. When you're talking about that main concourse, Derek, you also talked about how one of the designs you wanted was the ability for fans to walk 360 degrees around the ballpark at one level, correct?
It is, yes. So that was very important as well. We want to make sure that no matter where you are, you have an understanding for where the field is, and you have a good perspective. You can see the green grass. In fact, one of the key elements to that is a couple of the main entry points, one on first base and one on third base. Where you walk into the ballpark, you actually walk down a set of stairs. You're immediately greeted with a view to the field. It'll be pretty spectacular.
Smith is running. Head first slide. He's in safely. Ball into center field. And look at him straight to third. Malik Smith with his 5th stolen base. And he takes third on the throwing error. And the Braves have a second run 90 feet away.
I love it. Put some pressure on the opponent's defense. Make them make a play. Run more. Hit and run more. And whatever the Braves might be short on power, they can make up for in speed and aggressiveness.
And it sets up great for Markakis, the team leader in RBIs, leading off. He's got 20 runs batted in on the year. Infield comes in for the Phillies. The Braves with a run on 4 hits as we continue with Derek Schiller here at Turner Field tonight. And that's high and tight. The next obvious question with season tickets going on sale. You will at some point have general admission tickets going on sale. Fans want to know, what's the price point for tickets? How affordable will SunTrust Park be for fans who want to come to the games?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've done is we've first decreased the size of the ballpark. Here at Turner Field, we can seat almost 50,000 people. At SunTrust Park, it goes down to about 41,500. We did increase the amount of premium seats, those seats with some level of amenity with a club, food and beverage built into the ticket, valet parking, whatever it might be. And those go from here at Turner Field, about 400 of those types of seats, to about 4,000 at SunTrust Park.
Nick Markakis with a sac fly to left. 21 RBIs for Nick. The Braves manufacture run number 2. It's 2-0.
And while doing that, we still try to preserve those non-premium seats are very affordable. As we talked about earlier, with the amount of families that come to the games, we want to make sure that the ticket prices are still, relatively speaking, they're very similar to what they are here at Turner Field. The average price point won't move up by that much, and we have tickets as low as $7. You can get a season ticket for $7 a game. So that's a really affordable ticket, obviously, and less than you can probably go to a movie these days.
Right, and again, as we said, the sight lines are so good that $7 ticket's a great seat.
It is, very much so. But there are options all across the board. Whatever you might want. One of the increases is doing a lot of different things in the ballpark. Lots of different seating types.
Derek, it's a pleasure. Congratulations on the start of season ticket sales. It's a pleasure to have you here. And hey, the 3 stars of Devo. Check us out.
Looks really good. Thanks for having me, guys.
we head to the top of the third inning, time for our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
Well, they are now the youngest starting rotation by a pretty good margin over these Philadelphia Phillies. The Yankees' average age surprises me, but CC Sabathia is on the disabled list. That may bring their age level down quite a bit.
I know this, young or old, I don't want to run into that Yankees bullpen now that Aroldis Chapman is active. Pitching well for Joe Girardi's club. And Williams Perez, your Ford Keys, be aggressive. He's done that tonight. He's going right after these Philly hitters. Lots of strikes, and so far 6 up, 6 down for him.
Love it. Spotless fastball. I don't think he's been to a 3-ball count yet. Nope.
Little chopper toward Ibar. Gets the friendly hop, throws to first in time. Tyler Goodell is the 7th straight Philadelphia hitter retired tonight.
See, when he wants to, he can rear back for a little extra. That last pitch was 94. He usually sits around 91, 92. But what a nice weapon to have to reach back for that when he needs it.
Here's Jared Eichhoff. He's got 3 hits this year. He's knocked in a couple of runs too. It's foul at the plate. Williams Perez is a smart guy. I'm sure he knows now that Julius Chassin has been traded to the Angels that there is an opportunity in this Braves rotation. He's the man that got the lucky phone call to come back after a 1-hit complete game for Gwinnett his last start. Getting here is hard. Staying here is harder.
Yes, I know that. And he's younger. Rather see the younger guy get a chance.
1 ball, 1 strike. Eichhoff, a big target. He's behind in the count. Little chopper back to the mound. Perez takes care of his mound opponent. 8 up and 8 down. And here's Peter Borges.
Williams had 3 starts against the Phillies last year. Went 2-1. Had a very high ERA. 17 innings, 21 hits. But he also struck out 16 in those 17 innings.
I can understand if you are a major league pitcher and you get hit with a batted ball as hard as he was hit in Pittsburgh, how you might be a little gun shy for a while. That one's chopped off the plate. Got to wait for gravity or a friendly bounce. And it rolled foul.
And it looked like that was going to stay foul all the way. But you got to know who the runner is. And with Peter Borges, A.J. Brzezinski's been around the block a time or two. He knew that by the time that came down, if it wasn't fair territory, they needed to hope that it would roll foul. Did I say a time or two?
You did. A timer 2000 maybe.
Being kind. Yeah.
No balls at a strike. To the mound. Williams Perez is perfect through 3. A couple of early runs always helps. An Atlanta starter. It's 2-0 after 2.5.
2-0 going into the bottom of the third, and two Phillies, the second baseman and the shortstop, Cesar Hernandez and Freddie Galvis. They're very familiar with each other. They're both from Venezuela. They played Little League against each other and actually had the same host family where they always talked about potentially playing in the show together. And here they are, right next to each other at second and third. They actually both signed with the Phillies on the same day, July 2nd, 2006. Wives are best friends, daughters are the same ages, so it's just a perfect match made in heaven for the two of them.
God, that's a great story, Kelsey. I didn't know that. What are the chances that two guys get to play together all the way to the big leagues? Amazing.
And they've been very good together up the middle for Philadelphia. Jared Eichhoff back to work for Philadelphia here in the Braves half of the third inning. Freddie Freeman singled his first time up. And now it's ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Into center field. Freeman's got another hit.
Okay, so guys, you heard me saying, they lived with that same family. I just want to reiterate, they played on different teams. And, in Venezuela, kind of to afford Little League, you have to do those host families. And they literally lived in the same house on different teams. And here they are today, playing side by side at second and short. Yeah,
but still, that's like being brothers,
Yeah.
in the same house, and you may be going to different parks to practice and all that kind of thing, but that's quite a story.
Well, we are always impressed with Freddie Galvis. He has made so many terrific plays against the Braves defensively, including one last night here. And Cesar Hernandez has taken over for Chase Utley at second for the Phillies, hitting second on their lineup card. They're doing the exact same thing the Braves are. They're going young with their players, although Hernandez and Galvis have several years of major league experience already behind them. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Kelly takes low, ball 2. Eichhoff not particularly sharp. Lots of strikes, maybe too many to start the game, and now he's falling behind these Atlanta hitters.
Throwing an awful lot of that curveball. I know it's a good one, and I know he got a strikeout when he needed it of Beckham in the first inning, but man, oh man, seems he's fallen in love with it to the extent he can't throw a fastball for a strike unless it's in the middle. As demonstrated there.
Yep. Now it's 3-0. Braves have a lead. Let's see if they turn Kelly Johnson loose. He has an RBI hit already tonight. Nope. 3 balls and a strike. Center field. That'll get down for a hit. Freddie Freeman with those long strides is on his way to third. Kelly's going to take second as the throw's off target. Second and third, nobody out.
And a rare extra base hit for the Braves at Turner Field. They've been hard to come by. Fastball up and out over the plate. Kelly's not going to miss that too often.
You're right about the extra base hits. This is Atlanta's 18th home game. That's only the 22nd extra base hit they have had on their home field. So a chance for a big inning. A.J. Pierzynski's up there. Second and third, nobody out. Ross on the run is going to get there. Tagging is Freeman. He will score. Kelly Johnson to third on a sac fly by A.J. Pierzynski.
And A.J. really miffed that Borges ran that down. He did everything. Everything worked the way he wanted it. He was sitting on the curveball. He got the curveball and he crushed it. And then it was caught. Still gets the RBI and moved another guy over.
Yeah, but he wanted 2 RBIs, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
But that's number 7 on the year. The Braves have a 3-run lead, and here's Gordon Beckham with the infield in. Righties have been held to a 180 average by Eichhoff. He got Beckham to swing and miss his first time up.
Well, the count's already 1-0 on a fastball that was so far off the mark that Ruff's going to go out and talk to Eichhoff and try to settle him down. But at least early in the count, Beckham, I got to look for that hook. Just try to turn that front shoulder in a little bit on anything that looks like it's coming near you and sit back.
But it was not a good pitch. 2-0. Brett Oberholzer is up in the Phillies bullpen.
Long man, former starter. A straight change up there. But from Gordon's perspective, this curveball's so big that it's hard to, even if you're looking for it, to not think that he's lost it, that it's coming at you.
All 4, first and third with 1 out.
That's his first walk, and it turns out to be, other than the pitcher, the only right-handed hitter in the lineup.
So by a little more time for Oberholzer to get loose. McClure, the pitching coach, makes his way to the mound for the Phillies. A rough start in Atlanta for Jared Eichhoff tonight. Phillies starters this year have pitched to a .365 collective earned run average. They've been a strikeout staff. 196 strikeouts by their starters in almost 190 innings. Eichhoff averages a little less than a strikeout per inning. But on the road in Atlanta tonight has had a rough go.
Well, his first 3 starts, darn good. Lost a couple of games with a 189 ERA, low batting average against. His last 3 have been a different story. And certainly tonight, a rough outing.
Yeah, 13 earned runs for Eichhoff in his last 17 1/3 innings of work against Milwaukee, Cleveland, and the Cardinals. And 3 runs in his first 3 innings tonight. First and third for Ibar.
Middle infielders are about halfway. They'd like to turn a double play beginning at second base, but something hard hit, they may come home. If Kelly's going on contact and the ball is hit to one of those guys, I think they'd have a hard time throwing him out.
Double play ball. Galvis with the turn, and that bails out Jared Eichhoff in the Atlanta third. Braves settle for 1 run. It's 3-0 as we go to the 4th.
know, there are some things that remind you it's bigger than baseball. Just like this happened before the game. That is Staff Sergeant Clayton Walker being reunited with his 10-year-old daughter, Cassidy, after 11 months of deployment. She sang the national anthem, and he had a video dedicated to her. She had no idea that he was here, and after they were done, he ran out, and you guys, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. I know I kind of lost it. He was deployed for a 5th time in July of 2015 and returned from deployment this month. He's going to resume his previous duties and responsibilities with the 2nd Intelligence Battalion at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. But like I said, bigger than baseball. Incredible to see, and props for the Braves for making that happen, because it really puts it in perspective for you.
Weren't any dry eyes up here, I know that, Kelsey. And you saw the tears on her cheek while she was singing. That's from that video that Kelsey referred to, where Cassidy thought it was just a greeting from her dad while deployed.
Yeah, and her school was singing the national anthem from Perry, Georgia.
And he knew that, so he was saying congratulations on that. So she was really teary just from the greeting from her dad on the big screen. Had no idea he was actually here. That was a wonderful moment.
Great way to start what's turned out to be a terrific night for the Braves here in Atlanta, as Odubel Herrera leads things off for the Phillies in the 4th. Williams Perez, 9 men up, 9 men down. This one's popped up left side. Gordon Beckham should have plenty of room, and he's got it. There's the first out. This is the old Williams Perez tonight.
Oh boy, looks sharp.
Cesar Hernandez struck out his first time up. "34 pitches, Joe. Only 8 out of the strike zone."
Walks, that was one of the other keys. Be aggressive. Don't put a bunch of guys on base. Trust your stuff, and he has tonight. Another good changeup there.
How commanding has he been? Only man to hit the ball out of the infield is Herrera when he led off the game with a fly ball to center.
Well, I want to go back to a game which was the only win the Braves have at home. Guess who started that game? Williams Perez, back on April 19th. Braves beat the Dodgers 8-1. Now, he didn't get the decision because he walked the ballpark.
Ground ball left side. Beckham's got it. Nice pin. 360 spin and got his man. Good play. 2 out.
And you're right, Chip. That was a tricky hop he handled. Well done. Coming up on him here a little bit. Toyota key play and out. That line for Williams back on April 19th. He only went 3 1/3 innings, only gave up 2 hits and didn't give up a run. But he also walked 3 over that stretch. He walked 2 in the 2nd inning. He walked another batter in the 3rd, and then in the 4th, when he came out of the game, he gave up 2 back-to-back hits with 1 out. So he was out of the game. Ryan Weber came in, had a great game in long relief, and got the win.
Right.
But Williams threw 56 pitches in 3 1/3. So he was nibbling. He was walking guys. Couldn't stay in the game because of the base runners, the total base runners. Tonight, different story.
Strike 1 to 10 of the first 12 Phillies he's faced here in the middle game of the series. By getting ahead, he's kept the Philly hitters off balance, and because he's throwing strike 1 and working so efficiently, his defense has rewarded him with a couple of good plays already.
Sure have. Just threw a 76-mile-an-hour breaking ball that had Franco spinning in the dirt.
count for Michael Franco.
His first one. 76 to 94 to 77.
Swing and a miss at 91 miles an hour. 4 perfect innings for Williams Perez. He leads 3-0. He's going to lead off the Atlanta 4th.
Baseball is sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Fans follow live baseball with the MLB.com at bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and your tablet. Williams Perez is the man of the hour. Perfect through 4 on the mound. He's 0 for 1 at the plate. Jared Eichhoff back out there for the Phillies. Single runs in each of the first 3 Atlanta offensive innings.
Well, he's walked a tightrope, that's for sure. Left the bases loaded in the first. They got the double play last inning. Runners at first and third, 1 out.
Strike 3 called, and Perez was bailing out.
Well, I don't blame him.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pitch, wasn't it?
Threw it at him up high. So far, Eichhoff has gotten away with a lot of high hooks. And I'm not talking about he got the call. I'm just saying they're upstairs and they're just out of the zone enough that nobody's really taking him downtown. I mean, I say out of the zone, high in the zone enough that the hitters have given up on it and nobody's taking him out.
Alex Smith helped manufacture the Braves' second run tonight. 1-out single, stole second, took third on a throwing error, and came home on Nick Markakis' sacrifice fly. Last 8 games, Alex Smith has scored 6 runs. And a bouncing ball toward Howard at first, and he's going to apply the tag. No way Malik's getting around big Ryan Howard, who had the first base bag blocked off. 2 outs.
Too much of Ryan to get around.
Yeah. I think Terry Pendleton, Howard are talking about that play. So 2 outs. Nick Markakis has a hit and an RBI tonight. Nick's been on base now 28 of his 31 games. And a sinking line drive handled on a short hop at second gives Eichhoff his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. We go to the 5th. Our friends at Delta Airlines for getting us from city to city during this 2016 season. We'll be off to Kansas City after we wrap up the series here against the Phillies tomorrow night.
You got one of those selfie sticks?
I do not.
You don't?
Nope.
Wow, Chan does. Chan's got one.
Ryan Howard drives the first pitch to left. That ball is deep. That ball is gone. And Ryan Howard continues to punish Braves pitching. A first pitch homer ends the perfect game bid by Williams Perez. It's 3-1 now.
That swing ruined a lot of things.
Sure did.
Ruined the perfect game, ruined the no-hitter, ruined the shutout. You let him get extended, even to the opposite field. That's what can happen.
22nd career homer in this ballpark, more than any other visiting player. And Ryan Howard, with 51 lifetime homers against the Braves, has cut the lead now to 3-1. This is Cameron Rupp, and he unloads to left. But this one's going to be caught by Inciarte. 1 out. There's a very valuable lesson before that Howard homer. Never talk about selfies when a home run hitter's up.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize that.
That was just uncalled for.
Okay. So I'll do better next time.
No, it wasn't you. That one's on our producer, Brian Woodruff.
Okay. For what it's worth, Woody, I didn't know that either. But it's a new age.
Yeah.
New rules.
You've come a long way in understanding the new rules.
I'm trying.
you said, Chan probably has one. He uses his as a hot dog grabber.
He's transformed a trash picker up.
Yeah, right? Popped up. Left side, Ibar and Beckham. Who wants it? It'll be Ibar. Can't you see Chan at the ballpark just sort of looking down the aisle?
Yes, I can.
Sees a hot dog loaded up the way he wants. Just reach over and grab that bad boy.
Yeah, and it's like telescopic.
Yeah, right.
Like a ball retriever like you have in your golf bag.
So Williams recovers with a couple of pop outs after the Howard homer. Here's Tyler Goodell. And a strike. He rolled out to short his first time up. 3-1 game. We're in the 5th. As well as Perez has pitched, you hope that this game doesn't dissolve into what could have been with all the early offensive opportunities for the Braves.
Crossed my mind. Williams needs to keep doing what he's been doing.
Yep. Especially with that Phillies bullpen, which has been so very impressive this year.
Pete McCannon, the manager of the Phillies, has been talking about the lack of production from first base, whether it was Darren Ruff or Ryan Howard, that things have got to change because they do have, as he said, I have options.
It's foul at third. Goodell 0-2.
And it was the young man that they've got named Joseph, name Joseph, in the minor leagues, that's converted from catching because of all of his concussions suffered while catching. They moved him to first base, but he's tearing it up in the International League. I believe leading the league in hitting.
No balls, 2 strikes again from Perez. And out of play. I think it's going to be fun to watch the Braves and Philly. We don't know how this season's going to end up. I think it's safe to say that most observers don't think the Phillies are going to finish the year above 500. They might. But history is that it's still going to be an uphill climb for them. But what's going to be fun is when their AAA and AA prospects get to the big leagues. And as that ball is a fair ball, and AJ just stolen out. When the Braves kids get up here, how much fun is that going to be for the rest of this 2016 season and beyond? Ryan Howard's homer, the first run of the night for the Phillies. The Braves leads cut to 3-1 here in Game 2.
Bill Acree, who has celebrated already 50 years working for the Braves. He's in his 51st year, but a wonderful reception today with a lot of his friends and family up there. A wonderful gift from the Atlanta Braves commemorating his 50 years with the team. No one, but no one, has ever been more loyal to the Atlanta Braves than Bill Acree.
Bill began his career here as a member of the grounds crew for the Atlanta Braves, and then worked his way up to the director of team travel, where he served for several decades, quite obviously.
Yep.
Wonderful video presentation from John Sherholtz. Bill Bartholomew had some wonderful words to say, as did Chris Van Zandt, who's the current director of team travel. His was a wonderfully touching speech. Chris takes a backseat to no one in his job duties and the way he performs, not replacing Bill, but filling Bill's shoes now. But Bill's a guy that's taught all of us so very much.
Well, and his son Ben too. Ben's had a speech, and Bill was kind of funny. He said he asked his son Ben what he wanted to do, and he said, "I want to work for you." And he has done just that. And Ben is the home clubhouse manager and equipment manager. But it was funny.
Ciarte is going to pop out.
In this regard, I had a program I was going through of people scheduled to speak, including Chris and Ben, and we were done. And all of a sudden, I hear like a hand go up, and Dale Murphy goes, "Hold on just a second. I'm sorry. I need to say something on behalf of the players." So Dale Murphy came up and spoke, and then all out of the corner, here comes Phil Niekro. "Hang on just a second." So a lot of people wanted to share their feelings about Bill and the time spent with him through the years here for the Atlanta Braves.
And I know Bill and Cindy are watching tonight, as that one's hit high in the air toward right. Burgess back. That ball is a goner. Freddie Freeman's hit another homer.
I said earlier, locked in. I don't know if there's another term that better describes it. He's right on that dancing bobcat thing.
A 3-for-3 night for Freddie Freeman. He's homered 2 games in a row now. That ends the night for Jared Eichhoff. We'll continue our story about a wonderful day for Bill Acree. What's been a great night for the Braves as well tonight.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, the Georgia Lottery, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Braves got that Ryan Howard home run back. Freddie Freeman went deep to make it a 4-1 game. Double switch for the Phillies. Emmanuel Burris will take over in left field. Brett Oberholzer is going to come on and pitch.
As mentioned before, he has started before. He's their long guy right now, but 2-0, high ERA, high walk numbers, and extremely high batting averages against him.
Those are all bad things if you're a big league pitcher.
Yeah, none of them add up.
Oberholzer was a Braves farmhand taken in the 8th round in 2008. Was traded to Houston with Juan Abreu, Paul Clemens, and Jordan Schaefer for Michael Bourne. Then Oberholzer went to the Phillies as part of that big Ken Giles trade before Christmas. Bouncing ball back to the mound. That will take care of Kelly Johnson. And that's out number 2.
Obviously, with a lineup loaded with left-handed hitters tonight, that's the first guy that Pete Buchanan went to. Oberholzer pops out at about 90 miles an hour. He's got a change and a curve.
And that brings up A.J. Przinsky, who has an RBI tonight. Again, we so thrilled and thankful to be invited to Bill Acrie's party today. There have been many times where, as A.J. awaits the first pitch, we've sat and listened to Bill tell story after story. But tonight was really one of the first times we've seen Bill almost speechless, with so many people who came out to not just say hello, but to say thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's about. All the things he's done for people through the years, whether it was accommodations for people on the road, not just the players, but team personnel.
Back up the middle, and Galvis can't get that one. A.J. Przinsky's got a hit.
Comp tickets, whatever the case might be, Bill seeing to it that everybody got it. If he's listening, I'd love for him to go make me a ham and cheese sandwich. That would be great.
So Bill, congrats. As Gordon Beckham digs in, he has struck out and he has walked. Kind of ironic too that Bill Acrie's celebration today took place on one of the oddest days in Braves baseball history. Today was the anniversary of Ted Turner managing the Braves for a day. And guess who was sitting right by Ted Turner in the dugout against the Pirates? It was Bill Acrie. Braves are trying to snap a 16-game losing streak. And Ted Turner finally said, I'm going to come down and manage the team, see if I can bring him some luck. Well, he did. The Braves lost. And that was the one and only time that Ted was allowed to manage because of an obscure rule that said major league managers are not allowed to have a financial stake in the ball club.
When did that rule change?
I think
Connie Mack retired?
I'm pretty sure Connie Mack had something to do with it. Could you imagine the book that Bill Acrie could write? The history of this organization, this franchise, the people?
I don't think that'll happen. I've heard him say before, nope.
I remember when I'd get to visit Dad on my summer visitations, the old sign that was in the ballpark or in the clubhouse at the stadium across the street, never forgot it. What you see here, what you hear here, let it stay here when you leave here.
Bill and your dad had a wonderful long-term relationship.
Dad used to love it. Dad used to love it when the buses wouldn't be able to leave the tarmac in St. Louis. That was one of his. Bus is packed. Everybody's antsy, ready to get out.
Let's face it. Let's be honest here. Your dad was looking for any opportunity to get on Bill for anything.
No question. So we're sitting on the tarmac, trying to get to the hotel. He'll have dinner plans and what have you. And we're sitting there very patiently, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Bobby Cox is looking at his watch and looks at Bill and says, "Bill, what's going on? What's taking so long?" So Dad elbows me. "Watch this." And he leans up against the glass of the bus window. And as loudly as he can possibly say it, he says, "Billy, sheesh." And let's just say that Bill's response will not be FCC approved, but the bus broke up, broke the tension, and off we went. Yeah, my dad loved Bill Acree like a brother. And ground ball hit towards short. Galvis scoops and fires. And Oberholzer gets the Phillies out of the Atlanta fifth. Freddie Freeman has hit homers in back-to-back games. A long one to right gives him 6 for the year. Braves have built another 3-run lead. This time it's a 4-1 score. Cricket's something to smile about. As we showed you earlier, that's Staff Sergeant Clayton Walker and his 10-year-old daughter Cassidy, who was surprised after her dad came home after an 11-month deployment. Cassidy and her classmates sang the national anthem today. Video tribute on the board from Staff Sergeant Walker for his daughter. She didn't know he was going to be here tonight, and an emotional embrace down the first base line before the game tonight.
Quite a night for their entire family.
You bet.
Good night for Williams Perez, too.
Yep, say quite a night for him. 1 run, 1 hit. That's the Ryan Howard homer. Now he's got another 3-run advantage, a 4-1 score after 5.
He's already worked deeper into this game than he has in any start this year.
And look how efficiently he's done it. So Emmanuel Burris will lead things off, then Borges, then Dubal Herrera. Beckham in on the grass, cut it off, 1 pitch, 1 out.
When you're throwing a lot of first pitch strikes, the hitters know it. They talk about it in the dugout. Be ready for that first one. You're going to get a lot of early outs. You may give up some base hits leading off the inning, but got a good chance of getting an early out, and he did right there on 1 pitch.
Borges tapped back to the mound. That ended the Phillies' 3rd inning. And that's off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Sunk in across the knees. Even count. Missed it tonight. The Braves traded Julius Chassin to the Los Angeles Angels for a minor league left-handed pitcher. Ground ball to second. That'll be easy. Borges is the second out. Chassin was the man scheduled to start tonight's game. The Angels desperate for pitching with all the injuries they have suffered. They get a veteran in Chassin. Braves get some salary relief, I would assume, in that deal as well. And that allows Williams Perez to come back from Gwinnett and coming off maybe his best start as a professional.
I'll tell you what, he's throwing a very heavy sinker tonight too. A lot of these ground balls sound like they're being hit, with hitting a bowling ball, I should say. There's not much on him.
I've got 4 balls out of 3 balls hit out of the infield by the Phillies tonight. That's it. It's whacked in front of the Phillies dugout. 0-2 the count. Bumblebees in that hand.
Yep.
Clint Fagan gave Herrera a few extra moments. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He doesn't look too anxious to get in the box,
No,
does
he doesn't. He's really slowing the pace down for Williams, who wants to work faster. Remember that rule where you're supposed to keep 1 foot in the batter's box? Gone by the wayside.
Swing and a miss. Williams Perez works a perfect 6th inning. 9 pitches for the Braves right-hander. Available for the first time to the general public. SunTrust Park season tickets are now on sale. Get your seats by this Friday, May 13th. and be among the first to get an exclusive behind-the-scenes hard hat tour of SunTrust Park. It's an experience you won't forget. Go to Braves.com/SunTrust Park now.
See that picture of the upper deck? We'll go back to it. It's called a split upper deck. So you look at the upper deck at Turner Field, and it is vast. It goes up, 50 rows or more. You can see that those two upper levels of the upper deck are split. So it's actually like they folded the upper half of the upper deck over the lower half of it, again bringing the fans closer to the field, not as high.
Little dribbler, Oberholzer with a bare hand, makes the play and got Perez for the first out. And we walked along that concourse just below that split upper deck, and the views of the ballpark are just gorgeous. You can see the surrounding area. You can actually see from some spots Midtown and downtown, the skyscrapers, and
sure can.
Boy, how beautiful will that look at night. As well as the office buildings, the soon-to-be built Omni Hotel, all the excitement and the lights of the Battery Atlanta, and what we hope will be many nights with big, boisterous baseball crowds.
Tough break for Malix there. He didn't get the bat out of the way in time. Tried to pull the bat back, but a foul tip.
Freddie Gonzalez has done a nice job with Malix Smith, trying to pick his spots against left-handed pitchers.
Well, I think he's been going pretty much with a platoon on that.
Right.
So the fact that he's in this game and they change pitchers, you leave him in there with a nice lead. You want your defense, nice defensive unit in there. But he's still scuffling a little bit with lefties. But it doesn't deter him. He's working hard and getting better.
Yep, 2 for 20 now with 9 strikeouts against southpaw pitchers for Malix Smith. And 2 quick outs takes us back to the top of the order. Nick Markakis here in the 6th.
Brett Oberholzer's from Delaware. Born in Christiana, lives now in St. George's, Delaware.
Imagine that Oberholzer didn't enjoy pitching with those Crawford boxes lurking over his right shoulder in Houston. He was 5-13 a couple of years ago in 24 starts. And a 6 games above 500 record in minor league ball with a sub-4 ERA. But going in the big leagues coming into this year, 11-20.
Well, he's a good alternative if they need a spot start from somebody. He's your guy.
4-1 Braves. Bases empty for Markakis, and that one served toward left. Emmanuel Burris is there, and Oberholzer continues his good work against his former club. We are off to inning number 7. Freddie Freeman is red hot, as you'll see on our game summary brought to you by Chevrolet.
Braves got single runs in the first, second, and third innings and staked Williams Perez to an early lead. And he has not looked back after a complete game 1-hit shutout in his last start at Gwinnett. He's brought it right with him to the big leagues. He's given up only 1 hit, the home run by Howard, and has been outstanding through 6.
In the 7th, he'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up.
64 pitches. Outstanding.
Bouncing ball to third on the first pitch. I'll have to check with Chan and see how many first pitch outs Williams Perez has gotten in this game.
But and then look at the location of this pitch. Look at the movement on this pitch. AJ's target's away, and it starts on the outside corner, moves about 2 inches off the plate, hits it off the end of the bat, easy out. That's 2 first pitch outs the last 2 innings.
A lot of first pitch strikes. In fact, Williams has only thrown 17 balls in the entire game. And he's in the 7th. Uncle Franco's 0 for 2. He struck out in one of those 2 trips. Franco was 3 for 4 last night.
It's just great to see.
Yep. We've talked a lot during this homestand about how it would be nice to see the Braves starting pitchers get on a roll and take some pressure off the bullpen by working deep into the game. Matt Whistler went 8 last night, and here's Perez cruising into the 7th. Another chance on the left side. Nice pick, double clutch, and a perfect throw. Ibar made a nice play.
I was teasing Williams today when he first came into the clubhouse. Chris Van Zandt was saying, hey, welcome back, glad you're here. And I said, yeah, by the way, you're pitching tonight, can you go 9? And he just laughed, you know, and I was kidding. You could very well go 9 tonight.
You better do that every 5th day.
Right.
And here's the villain, Ryan Howard, the only man who's hit safely. It was a first pitch, a home run to left. Down and in for Howard, 1 ball, no strikes.
Your point was a good one a couple of innings ago, though, Chip, that the infielders are on their toes tonight, man. They're making plays. Change up.
Work fast, throw strikes, change speeds, right?
Yep.
That's the Ray Miller philosophy. Williams has done that to a T tonight. Shift is on. Kelly Johnson about 30 feet out on the grass and right. Just missed.
Another good changeup. Again with Howard, if you let him get his arms extended, and if you pitch him in, down and in, he's going to extend and just drop the barrel on the ball and crush it. You can come upstairs, you can come belt high, you can come chest high inside.
And that one right on by. Still throwing 93 miles an hour. Another efficient inning. Just 10 pitches for Williams Perez, who's throwing a 1-hitter at Philadelphia at the 7th inning stretch.
your Xfinity game break, I'm going to take you to my hometown of Houston, where the Astros were hosting the Indians. The 16th inning, yes, 16th, Marwin Gonzalez with a 2-run shot to walk it off 5-3. That ended the game tied for the longest of the entire season. 16 inning, guys, 16.
Hey, you know what, Kelsey, if it takes the Astros 20 innings to win, they'll take all the wins they can get. They've been a rather disappointing club to start the year, but that's their 14th win. And they're back to 500 at home at 10-10 now.
And I can tell you that, yes, they were happy, certainly, to get the win, but they were mostly celebrating that the game's over.
Yes, because Bill Brown, the legendary voice of the Houston Astros, will tell you, as Inciarte bats, I bet you Brownie's watching our game after that 16-inning extravaganza. Most important stat is, of course, time of game.
Yeah.
To third. Franco's got it. And there's the first out.
Got to say that Oberholzer's improving on that batting average from lefties tonight. He's doing a good job there. And as much fun as we had today celebrating Bill Acree on a sad note, and our condolences and sympathies go out to assistant athletic trainer Jim Lovell and his family. Jim lost his mom on Sunday. He's away from the team for those services. We send our best to Jim and our thoughts and prayers with the family.
One ball, no strikes for Freddie Freeman, who's got a perfect night tonight. 2 singles, a homer, and 2 runs scored. As Joe said, he's what?
Hotter than a dancing bobcat.
That'll end Freddie's perfect night. And Oberholzer gets his second out of the inning. That putout went 5-3. It was Franco who was the man in the shift for the Phillies. And here's Kelly Johnson. Yeah, not many options for the Braves to hit fourth because there's so little power on this current roster. But as we showed you on the Georgia Lottery jackpot feature, Kelly Johnson has swung the bat very well against the Phillies over the last 20 games. And so Freddie Gonzalez played a hunch, and Kelly rewarded him with a 2-hit in 3-try night, including a first-inning RBI single. Kelly also doubled in the third. And that paints corner. It's 0-2. Hot shot, Galvis. Well, he looks so smooth. And he makes a nice play to retire Atlanta in the 7th. Off we go to the 8th. 4-1. Braves lead it behind Williams Perez. As we head to inning number 8, let's take a look at a State Farm double play. One of the great deeks in baseball history happened last night.
Yeah, if you missed it, this was a beauty. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, was running at first. Inciarte acted like he had lost it in the twilight. Had it all the way. Doubled off Ruiz at first base. And that lit up the dugout.
Daniel Castro checks in for the Braves. He'll be at second base as we head to the 8th inning. Rupp, Galvis, and then the pitcher spot.
See that pitch there? Breaking ball, first pitch, dropped it in for a strike. That's what Whistler was trying to do in the for the first pitch last night, leading off the 8th when Franco hit that homer. That turned out to be a decisive run. Just to get over curveball, but Matt hung his.
Strike 1 to 18 of 23 hitters for Perez. He's changed speeds well. He's gone in and out and up and down. Perez has not walked anyone, which was one of Joe's big keys for him tonight, and he struck out 4. Driven to right. Markakis chased back to the warning track. He's going to have room. There's the first out.
I mean, this has just been an outstanding performance. And I'm so happy for Williams, who again got off to such a great start last year. Got hurt. Wasn't the same after the injury. Wasn't the same after the disabled list stint. And frankly wasn't the same guy beginning this season. He was just nibbling around, not throwing strikes, and as a result got demoted. And as he come back strong tonight.
David Lowe is on deck. He'll bat next as Galvis quickly behind 0-2. Most innings pitched for Williams Perez in the big leagues is 8. Last August 11th in Tampa Bay. He's got a great shot to get through 8 tonight. He's got a 4-1 lead, a 1-hitter. The Ryan Howard leadoff home run in the Phillies' 5th. There's the second hit. This one on an 0-2 pitch. Galvis was all over that. And now Lowe's going to be called back. Let's see who Pete McCannon calls on here.
Good swing. Missed the target though. AJ was set up away. The fastball came to the inner third, and a nice turn on it by Galvis.
This is Darren Ruff. You can understand why Pete McCannon's going in this direction. If memory serves, when Ruff first came up, they started calling him Babe Ruff. Yep. Babe Ruff, because of all the pinch hit home runs he was picking up.
That and a great year he had at Double-A Reading.
He had 38 home runs one year at Reading. That was in 2012. And he's got damage on his mind. Ruff can play first. He can play left. Last year, 12 homers with the Phillies in 106 games. This is one big dude. He's 6'3", 248 pounds, out of Omaha, Nebraska. Graduated from Creighton University. Sharply hit to short. Ibar's got it. He'll fire to second. Line on to first, to double play. And Williams Perez has matched his career high with 8 innings. And he's allowed just 2 Philly hits.
Swing, high fly ball, back to right center, and the Braves have won it!
I don't trust it to anybody else. I want that opportunity in that spot to come up in that situation against one of the best closers in the game, and I got the head out on one today.
Here's 20 years brought to you by Synovus, the bank of here. Chipper Jones with that dramatic home run against Jonathan Papelbon and the Phillies. The Braves scored 5 times in the 9th inning and stunned Philadelphia 8-7 here at Turner Field.
Chipper was at the ballpark today. It was good to see him. I think he and Freddie were doing some filming on a four-wheeler to kind of reenact their rescue.
Their ATV adventures, as it were.
Yes.
Had the Phillies a little worried today because I told John McLaren, one of their terrific coaches, that as you see Elvis Araujo come on to pitch, Braves were thinking about putting Dale Murphy and Chipper Jones in the lineup tonight. And A.J. Pierzynski starts things off and fouls it away.
Take my chances.
Yeah. Good night for A.J. tonight. Hitting an RBI, and he and Williams Perez. I don't think Williams has shaken him off once. And Araujo quickly ahead 0-2.
Low to mid-90s fastball and a good slider that AJ just saw right there. More walks than strikeouts though in his 6 innings. 6 walks, 5 strikeouts.
This is a big man too. Araujo 6'7", 274. Out of Maracaibo, Venezuela.
Tell you what, he doesn't look. You talk about being proportionate. He hides 270 pretty well.
Yeah, he looks like what Ernie Johnson used to say of Claudel Washington. He looks like one of those guys. His shirt looks like the hanger still.
Still in the shirt.
Still inside the shirt. The shirt's still on it. Yep. And just a real physical specimen. They pitched him 40 games last year to the Phillies. Struck out a man per inning, and that fits right into, Joe, what their bullpen has done all year this year. Their relief corps has been spectacular. That's why they've been able to win so many one-run games. They won 12 of 15 of those. And he just missed. Thought he had AJ struck out. Full count.
So did the whole infield. Everybody was walking to the left to get ready to take the throw to third and throw it around the horn.
Fly ball left. Burris is over. He'll give way to Odubel Herrera. And there's out number 1. Hope you'll stay tuned tonight after the game. Braves Live presented by Xfinity. Jerome and Matt Diaz are standing by to talk about what we hope will be the Braves' second home win this season. Braves Live presented by Xfinity here at Turner Field, where the Braves lead 4-1 in the 8th.
Well, it would appear that Williams is going to be given a chance to go back out.
I like it.
Yeah, me too. How many pitches for him, Chan? 85 pitches. Wow, what a night.
And he's got the bottom part of the order up for the Phillies first. 8, 9, and 1. Every out he gets from this point on will be a new career high for him. And remember, 9 innings of 1 hit ball in his last start with Gwinnett. Araujo takes over for Oberholzer, who went 2 2/3 of scoreless ball in relief. The Phillies reliever had some trouble on the road trip, but he rebounded nicely tonight.
The start before the 9-inning 1-hit shutout was against Columbus, and no signs of any real improvement. 5 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, a couple of walks. But he found the mark in that last start that's carried him into this one tonight.
base hit for Beckham. Gordon reaches for a third time. He's thinking two. Herrera got to it a little late, and Beckham cruises into second with a stand-up double.
That's a good test for his leg. Good sign there that his hamstring's fine. Right out of the box. He was thinking two. Made it easily.
As you said before he got hurt, Gordon was slowly turning into one of the hot hitters in the Braves lineup. He was 7 for 18 at the plate before he got hurt running to first base down in Miami. And that's his first hit since coming off the disabled list. A stand-up double sets it up for Eric Ibar.
Wait a minute. Chance telling me they ruled out a hit and an error. Where was the error?
I don't know.
Did I miss something on Herrera bobbling it or something?
I didn't see him bobble it. He was running toward left field, and Beckham, I'm sure, saw that and thought he could take the extra base. He's going to come home and score on Ibar's hit. That's going to make it 5-1 as Eric on his way to second. Back-to-back hits for the Braves gives Perez a little more breathing room. It's a 5-1 score. Third RBI for Eric Ibar.
Here was Herrera on Beckham's base hit. No. I mean, what you got to look at there if you're a bona fide official scorer is, did the runner stop?
Nope.
And then pick up his pace again? He never hesitated. He was going for two all the way.
Well, and my point is, Herrera's running with his momentum carrying him away from second base. That was something that Beckham saw.
Hopefully they'll change that. That should have been a double. No error.
As it stands now, the Phillies have 3 errors in the game. And the Braves cash in another run. Jeff Francoeur comes on now, and he's going to pinch it for Williams Perez.
Well, Williams still had himself an outstanding night.
Eight innings of 2-hit ball. No walks, which Joe said was a key tonight. And 4 strikeouts. And Francoeur's down on 3 pitches. Araujo takes care of him. 2 outs. And here's Alex Smith. .85 pitches for Williams tonight in 8 innings. Boy, if Whistler and Perez and Blair and Tehran can start doing that with great consistency, you're going to see much better results in the 1-loss column for this Atlanta ball club. Line foul by Smith, a little late on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
Kind of digging this 5 runs on 10 hits. Too.
Yeah.
They'll have a lot better results if they can get that kind of support too.
And early runs, right?
Yes. Makes his job a little easier over there in the dugout.
Did he go? I think so. First time the Braves have scored as many 5 runs in a game since April 28th when they beat the Red Sox 5-3. And strike 3 will retire the side. Atlanta adds a run. Back-to-back hits by Beckham and Ibar makes it 5-1 after 8. Jay Brzezinski and Williams Perez, who was absolutely brilliant.
He set down the first 12 in a row tonight. Struck out 4 on the night. And it wasn't until Ryan Howard led off the 5th with a homer that he gave up a hit. Gave up another single in the 8th. That was it. What a night.
So it's not a save situation for Arodys Vizcaíno, but he was up before the Braves added that run in the 8th. So he's hot. He'll come in and pitch, try to get the final 3 outs.
1.46 ERA.
And Emmanuel Burris launches one on a play foul. It's a strike. Burris, Borges, and Herrera in the 9th. Got a treat for you tomorrow night. Vince Velasquez and Aaron Blair will wrap up the series. Bouncing ball to first. Freddie's got it. Pitcher covers. There's the first out.
Yeah, that's a good matchup tomorrow night. Look forward to seeing Aaron Blair pitch again. He'll be looking for his first win against a guy who is striking out people in bunches. Vince Velasquez, 44 strikeouts, 37 innings, including one 16 strikeout game.
Yeah, that'll bump up your strikeouts per inning average, won't it?
Yes, it will.
He was one of the principals in that Ken Giles deal. And the Phillies think he could be something special. Braves feel the same about Aaron Blair. So we'll see if Atlanta can finish this one off and then win this series outright tomorrow night. Ball, 2 strikes. Another name in that Ken Giles deal was Mark Apple. Wasn't he the #1 pick?
Yes.
From the Astros?
About 3 years ago. Out of Stanford.
One, 2 count. Just laid off. So it was Velasquez, Apple, Oberholzer, Thomas Eshelman, and Harold Arauz. A-R-A-U-Z, that's how you pronounce it. All pitchers for Ken Giles. And Jonathan Arauz went to Houston with Ken Giles. I wonder if he's Harold's brother.
Might be.
Announced crowd tonight 13,760. Two and 2 for Borges. How good has the Braves pitching been tonight? Again, 1 run on 2 hits. The Phillies have not left a man on base. Their first run and only run was the Howard homer. Galvis had a base hit in the 8th inning on an 0-2 pitch, but then Ruff hit into a double play to end the inning.
That was a slick double play too. Castro with a quick turn around the bag.
Popped up. Malik Smith is coming on, says he's got it, and he does. 2 down. Earlier today, Chipper Jones and Freddie Freeman reenacted their Snowmageddon ATV ride.
Oh, and he had a snack. He said, don't forget your snack. Be back to pick you up later.
So that's a real live reenactment of the Chipper Rescues Freddy ATV bobblehead, which will take place on Saturday, May 28th. Don't want to miss it. Both Chipper and Freddy just. Chipper was telling us the story about how great it was. Here's your milk, here's your cookies, your lunch. I'll pick you up. Have a nice day. And all Freddy could do was just stand there and wear it. In Chris Van Zandt's office tonight. That'll be a great giveaway on the Braves bobblehead series. And the Skip and Pete bobblehead. I think we have a Nick Markakis bobblehead later on this summer. We hope a big crowd will join us on the 28th. Herrera takes ball 3. Trying to keep his impressive on base work alive tonight. He's got a hitless game. On base in 29 of 30 games. But he was shaking his finger when he struck out in the 6th inning. He had some finger problems this spring. He injured his left index finger on a slide in spring training camp for the Phillies. They can ill afford to lose him, as good as he's been in the outfield and batting first in their order. Fly ball shallow left. Enders not going to get there. A blue pit for Herrera keeps the game alive for the Phillies. His second hit of the series, and now Cesar Hernandez is coming up. Braves Live coming up in a few moments. We hope it's presented by Xfinity. The Braves need one more out to seal the deal on a 5-1 final score tonight.
One of the keys to tonight for Williams Perez were all those first pitch strikes. He got ahead in the count. He dictated from there. Arodys fell behind Herrera, then had to make a good pitch 3-1, gave up a hit, and now he's behind Hernandez.
And you don't want this lineup to get down to Franco or Ryan Howard. Let's worry about them tomorrow night.
Still got an error on the board for the Phillies on that play in the bottom of the 8th inning. Beckham should have received a double. Hopefully that will change. It'll be a 2-error night for the Phillies.
Runner goes. Braves don't care about that. Hernandez takes a strike. Herrera at second on defensive indifference. And now the crowd a chance to stand and cheer in the 9th inning. And a high hopper. Ibar waits. Long throw. Safe. Infield hit for Hernandez. The Phillies aren't dead yet. First and third, 2 out.
Safe. Good call over there at first by Mike Winters. Hernandez has good speed, and the big chop caused Ibar to have to wait for the second hop.
So Michael Franco's up there. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Pop back our way and overhead. Fan from Decatur made the catch. No balls and a strike. slipped. Vizcaino trying to dry his hands off on his right pants leg.
He has not been sharp tonight. Slider that backed up.
Pulled a string nicely there, and again the Braves need one more strike. There's your ball game. Braves beat the Phillies 5-1. They snapped their 11-game home losing streak. And they get to shake hands on their home turf since the first time since April 19th when they beat the Dodgers here by a final of 8-1. Williams Perez was terrific. Freddie Freeman with a 3-hit night. And the Braves have evened up the series at a game apiece.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by Georgia's best Chevy dealers and Georgia Power.